Power, money and politics. The Mark Carney connection. In the shadowy intersection of global finance and politics, few stories are as compelling or as concerning as the rise of Mark Carney. What began as a routine investigation into economic policy quickly unraveled into something far more troubling. August 2020. While the world grapples with a pandemic, Mark Carney, former governor of both the Bank of England and the Bank of Canada, quietly accepts a position as vice chair at Brookfield Asset Management, one of the largest asset managers on the planet. But this isn't just another executive appointment. Rewind just a year earlier, 2019, Jagmeet Singh wins a critical by-election, cementing his position in Canadian politics. Little did anyone know how these seemingly unrelated events would intertwine in a dance of power and money that would reshape Canadian politics. Now follow me closely. This is where things get interesting. While serving as an economic advisor to Prime Minister Justin Trudeau, pro bono, conveniently avoiding conflict of interest disclosures, Carney's Brookfield makes a curious move. November 2020, they announced Brookfield Asset Management Reassurance Partners Limited in Bermuda. Why Bermuda? We'll come back to that. Fast forward to May 2024, an undisclosed meeting between Carney and the Chinese president. August 12th, Chandra Airy and Brookfield's CFO, who happens to be Airy's son, make an unsanctioned trip to meet with the Indian Prime Minister. CSIS, Canada's intelligence service, flags this to the Liberal government. Their response? Nothing. Absolutely nothing. September 4th, 2024, the coalition agreement that's been keeping the Liberal government afloat suddenly terminates. Their grip on power now hangs by a thread, dependent entirely on Jagmeet Singh's need to remain in Parliament until February to secure his pension. February, remember that date? It's a deadline. 5 days after losing the coalition, the Liberals appoint a key Brookfield figure to their economic task force. Still pro bono, still exempt from conflict of interest rules. Convenient, isn't it? Now, watch this sequence of events carefully. September 2024. Brookfield solicits $50 billion from the federal government, $36 billion proposed, $10 billion solicited, with Brookfield putting in just $4 billion of their own money. October 31st. Brookfield announces they're moving their headquarters from Toronto to New York. Why does this matter? It significantly reduces Canadian government oversight and complicates any conflict of interest investigations. December 2024, shareholders approve a restructuring plan, January 2025. The New York relocation is finalized, and then January 16, 2025, Mark Carney suddenly resigns from Brookfield. On the same day, we learn he'd moved investments, including his Brookfield holdings, to an offshore account in Bermuda. Remember that Bermuda connection I mentioned? This makes verification or access to his portfolio virtually impossible. And on the very same day, he announces his candidacy for the Liberal Party. This isn't coincidence, this is calculation. The dominoes continue to fall with stunning precision. January 25th. Chandra Airy is disqualified from the Liberal Party for being manifestly unfit. February 25th. Jagmeet Singh qualifies for his pension. March 9th. Carney wins the Liberal leadership race. March 14th. He becomes Prime Minister, but there's a problem. Canadian law requires new Prime Ministers to disclose their investments within 60 days. Carney's strategy: call a 36-day election, the minimum legal time, to avoid hitting that disclosure deadline. There's just one more obstacle. Carney doesn't have a seat in Parliament. The solution? March 20th, 2025. Chandra Airy's nomination is revoked, clearing the path for Carney to secure his seat. The same Chandra Airy whose son is CFO at Brookfield, who together met with India's Prime Minister on that unsanctioned trip. Let's pull back and see the full picture. A $250 million loan negotiated in October, a meeting with Chinese leadership in May, a relocated headquarters to dodge Canadian oversight, advising the federal government to invest in projects where he stands to personally profit 100% for the next 15 years. Mark Carney, described by those who've worked with him as one of the coldest, most calculating people they've ever seen, now sits at the pinnacle of Canadian political power, While his former company appears positioned to increase its net profits tenfold through policy decisions he can now influence. This isn't just about one man's ambition or one company's profits. This is about the integrity of our democratic institutions and the invisible lines that connect power, money, and politics. The question now isn't just what happens next, but whether anyone is watching closely enough to stop it. The connections are there. The timeline is clear. The probability of coincidence, as I said at the beginning, about 5%. The probability this affects you, regardless of your political affiliation, 100%.